little over a month after the last American troops left Afghanistan as part of Biden's botched withdrawal, US intelligence officials have issued a stark warning. According to a report in the Financial Times newspaper, Pentagon analysts believe Afghanistan-based ISIS-K terrorists will be capable of launching an attack on American soil in as little as 6 months. For their reaction, let's bring in my international panel. From Sydney, co-host of Outsiders, James Morrow, and from Adelaide, host of Bernardi, Corey Bernardi. Well, I'm sorry to say, Corey, I am not surprised. This was always going to happen. It's just such a sad, sad day for America.
Peter, it's a very sad day for America, but it's a very sad day for the world. Let's look at the catastrophe that will unfold in Afghanistan. You've got an unrepentant and unreformed Taliban, which is an extreme version of Islam. They've now got tens of billions of dollars worth of surplus military hardware, which was left behind by the botched Biden administration's evacuation. And you're going to have a humanitarian crisis there on top of that. Is it any wonder that every crazy terrorist who wants to do harm to the West is going to find a safe refuge there, find arms and ammunition and training, and then they're going to exact whatever they want to, wherever they can in the world. And unfortunately, it's all happened under the demise of the role of the United States in being the world's policeman.
And James, no one's got confidence if this was to be the reality for America, if this heightened security risk is there, that Joe Biden's the bloke that can get it under control and protect Americans.
Well, that's exactly right. And we've seen, Peta, under Joe Biden, we've seen a complete collapse of any sort of pretense that they're even checking anybody who's coming into the United States to see who they are or enforce borders. We have had reports that some of the refugees who've come in from Afghanistan have been unvetted. We see what's going on the southern border of the U.S., where hundreds of thousands of people are streaming in every single month. And we know that those people are coming in from all over the world, not just Haiti, Central and South America, but that there is the very real potential that terrorists and bad actors could be among their numbers, streaming into the border, across the border, basically unchecked by the Biden administration, which has created this essentially crisis by design here. You know, on the one hand, they said, well, we're going to open up the borders. On the other hand, they said, we're going to pull out of Afghanistan. This is real end of the Roman Empire stuff, Peter, and it should be very scary, not just for the U.S., but for everyone, I think, in the free world around the world.
Let's go to another issue. US authorities have said that they'll issue passports starting from next year, which will provide travellers with the ability to choose their own gender. There'll be male, there'll be female, and of course there'll be this new category, Gender X, all provided from early 2022. Now, Corey, my concern is, yes, you use your passport to enter a country. Of course, we all know that. But in a lot of countries, particularly the Middle East, parts of Eastern Europe, when you check into a hotel, you've got to hand over your passport if you're not a local. And, do you want to be checking into a hotel in Saudi Arabia with X marked on your passport? Females bad enough in Saudi Arabia, but God help us if you're X. This is crazy.
Yeah, Peter, it is crazy, and I hadn't actually thought about that the implications of it in that respect. I just looked at this as should this be a priority for America? I mean, America is an empire that's in decline, unfortunately, under the Biden administration. They've got, critical problems with their economy happening. They're printing money hand over fist. And now they're having World Pronoun Day, and then this change to their passports. Surely there are more important things to do. And quite rightly, you point out the very real practical implications of it for those who travel to countries in Africa, in the Middle East, where tolerance and patience that we experience and expect in Western civilization are not in quite forthcoming as much as they are here, Peter.
Spot on, spot on. Let's go to the UK, James. The Chancellor of the Exchequer, their equivalent of the Treasurer, Rishi Sunak, he's handed out a very big spending budget, £150 billion worth of new commitments. Britons will soon be subject to their highest tax burden in 70 years. This is extraordinary. They call themselves conservatives. Not so conservative when it comes to other people's money, is it?
Yeah, no, and I mean, this is an example of what I think we've talked about a lot on this show, Peter, in the past, that, you wake up one day and you never know whether you get the good Johnson government or the bad Johnson government, and this is very much the bad one here. I think Rishi Sunak is really trying to have it both ways here because, on the one hand, they're saying, oh, the economy is coming back quicker than we thought. It's growing faster than we thought. The pandemic didn't hit it as hard. We're going to come bouncing back even better. And then on the other hand, they're saying, but we're going to go down this whole left-wing, never let a crisis go to waste mentality and impose all of these new taxes to fulfill this, what Boris Johnson calls a leveling up agenda, which is just code word for a lot of new social spending. There's some real dangers here. I mean, number one of them being that wages stagnate and in fact go down in all of this. People are left with a tax burden as high pretty much as they've had since World War II, since the 1950s. And then inflation starts to kick in, and we're already starting to see signs of that in the UK as we are here, and certainly in the United States, creating a situation of stagflation, which could be absolutely disastrous and cause a decade of lost economic growth, especially to the fortunes of the actual British people.
Right, let's go to the cabinet appointments of the newly re-elected Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Reshuffled his cabinet. As we know, he's re-elected in September. Green activist Stephen Guilbeault, former Greenpeace, what do they call him? The Green Jesus of Montreal. He is now the new Environment Minister, Melanie Joly. She's been named the Foreign Minister. And another woman, Anita Anand, as Defence Minister. There you go, Corey. I tell you, it's interesting enough anyway over in Canada, but this is about as bad as it gets, I reckon.
Yeah, I can understand why Americans don't want to flee to Canada anymore. The Green Jesus thing it strikes me as odd because these people worship the earth. They're not in any way religious. They've replaced traditional religion with the zeitgeist of earth worship. But it's got particularly significant things because Canada's the fourth largest oil producer in the world, I understand. And this guy is a take no prisoners activist. He's not there to work with the oil industry to work out, how you can get off fossil fuels. He is there to destroy that and to replace it with stuff that is really not practical. So I think Canada has got some issues of its own to deal with, and Trudeau was narrowly re-elected, and he's not wasting the chance to, I think, radically reform the culture and the economy of that once great nation.
All right, I've got to leave it there, gentlemen. We've run out of time to talk about Julian Assange, but I will have more to say at another time, as I'm sure you both will. James Morrow, Corey Bernardi, thank you for your time.